The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Right, good afternoon. Today's webinar, I'm going to do a quick overview and the introduction and a few tips and tricks for NetSuite marketing. My name is Alistair Pollock. I've been with Nolan Business Solutions for 20 plus years, and I'm primarily a NetSuite consultant. So we're going to go through, let me go on to the next page, not much in the way of PowerPoint. Most of this is going to be demonstration. What I'm going to do today is we're going to do a quick overview of marketing by actually creating an email blast. So we're going to go from creating the email templates through to creating the marketing lists and then actually creating and sending a campaign. So just show you how quick and easy it can be to create a mail blast, and then obviously for bigger campaigns you can add an awful lot more complexity, but this is just to show you how quick it can be. And once we've done that, we'll go through some of the reporting options and some of the data that we get back from that campaign and how we can use it. We'll then also go through and show you how to quickly create online lead generation through creating a form that can be either a standalone link or something that you can embed on your website. And then finally at the end, some people, if you're already using NetSuite, may all be upgraded to the new look version 2014.2. And I'll just go through a few of the very exciting changes that have been implemented for NetSuite marketing. Okay, all right, so let's get rid of PowerPoint. What we're going to start with is we're going to create our campaign. And the first element that's actually going to keep us out of NetSuite for a moment is going to be creating an email template. NetSuite marketing templates, we can create them solely within NetSuite as just simple text emails, but we're marketing, we want people to buy and use our products. So really to do that, we need an HTML template. That can be intimidating for a lot of people, but I just want to show you how easy that actually can be. So my starting point, if I just go over, this is in a piece of software called Microsoft Visual Studio. You could do this in a text editor, or a tool like Adobe Dreamweaver is very good. And all I've done is I've actually created a very, very simple template document actually out of Dreamweaver. Literally gone in, create a new document, selected a simple page with a header and a footer, and then that's it. So most of this information is just generated by Dreamweaver, and we're going to change very, very little of it today. So I won't go through the details of the HTML. We don't have enough time for that. But just to show you that within here, I can switch to design mode, and it gives me a preview of my page. Dreamweaver's gone and put in some default Latin text, and I created a footer at the bottom, and I have a header that I do need to add, which I'm going to show you how to do that now. So with NetSuite marketing, images and all the data need ID to get click-throughs, to get all the data back that we want about us, the success of our marketing campaign. The way that is done is through hosting the images actually within the NetSuite servers. So when your customer receives an email, when it goes and downloads the images on the email, that comes from the NetSuite servers, and NetSuite automatically acknowledges that and spots that someone not only has received your email, but has actually looked at it. So in order to do that, we need to put our images actually onto the server. So if I just go to Chrome, and I'll just show you. So I've got this just simple image that I've knocked up for my email, and I've saved that to my computer. And then if I go into NetSuite, so at the moment we're using the the current version of NetSuite. We're not using 2014.2. So I've got within my file cabinet, I've got images. I've created a folder for this webinar, and I've already uploaded my footer image. So all I need to do is upload my header file. And then what I need to do, if I go into it, there's one important part of it. There is an option called available without login. That has to be ticked. Otherwise, whatever image you give, you put on your email, your customers won't be able to see, because obviously they're locked tight within the NetSuite system. So it's giving you a preview, but the thing I want now is it gives me a URL for where this image is. So if I click on that and do copy link, I can then go to my HTML file, and I've got basically 3 sections: header, main, and footer. Footer's already filled in, so I just need to put my image address in there. And then if I actually go through to design, hopefully it will refresh and put my image at the top. Now obviously, this being a marketing email, I would go through and put all my content in and links to products and everything else, but we're just going to keep it simple at the moment. Even though I'm doing this as an external HTML file, we can still refer to data from within NetSuite. So if we want to put dear name actually on this email, we can do that. Just make sure that's saved. And I'll just show you, it's a little bit beyond what we're doing here, but NetSuite has a markup format for actually embedding and accessing elements within the record. And this is all fully documented within the NetSuite help. If you're just doing basically a static mail shot, then you can just create it all externally. Once you're happy with it, we have that saved, and we'll come back to that within NetSuite. So if we go into NetSuite and we want to go and create our email template now, so we're going to go and create a marketing template. And here we can create either a campaign template, or we can create an online form, and that's the item we're going to come back to later in this webinar. So we're going to create a campaign. SDK ones have been deprecated, so that's previous version, so we're going to do scriptable templates. And then I'm going to give it a name, marketing tips and tricks email template. And so on these templates, we can just go in and put in what the content's going to be, but then we end up with a fairly dull looking email. So we're going to go to File, and I'm going to click New, and choose it, and it's actually, that's my HTML there, and save that. And then under Marketing, I can now set the default addresses that I want to use. So all these addresses have to be set up within the marketing setup and have to be authenticated. So you can't just send random emails to random email addresses. NetSuite marketing for this sort of process is limited to 100,000 emails a month, or 10,000 in one go. If you want to need to do more than that, you need to actually configure and set up domains within NetSuite so that the recipients know and can authenticate that it's a valid address. This is NetSuite's protection so that they don't get flagged up for being a spamming company. Okay, so that's all I need at the moment. At this point, we don't have a subject for the email. That's actually done on the campaign. So if I save that, and we now have an email template. The next step is we're going to go and create a campaign, but we're going to need people that we're actually going to send this to. So our next job is to create ourselves a list of customers we're going to send to. So we're going to do that. So we're going to create a new search. And I'm going to look at contacts. So you can use it. You can use any contact entity. So you can do this against companies' contacts. You can do it against leads, and you can also mix and match them together. And I'll show you how you do that as well. So if I go to contact, click on the right one. So contact. Sorry. Create it as a safe search. So tips and tricks. Search one. And so now we can get. So if I just do save and run this, this will obviously bring back all contacts on the system. So now this is the opportunity we have for starting to segment and slice and dice our data. So what I'm going to do is go and I'm going to send this to country, and I'm going to send it to any of my contacts that are in the United States. There we go, so that gives us a list of 6. But then I'm also going to create a second one. So new search. I'm going to also look at contacts for this demonstration. Marketing tips and tricks. That's number 2. And here I'm going to say I also kind of want people where their job title. I want to go and find some managers to include. Now, obviously, where we're doing this, we can cut up our data as we want. So we can create safe searches that will link back to their customers or contact's trading history. So we can build up a list of people that maybe have never ordered or who have lapsed. We can build up lists where we have custom fields that we're going to use to sort of categorize and segment our data. So all I'm going to do is I've created two lists now, one for all my US users and another one for anybody that's a manager. And so now we have that. So that's our safe search. So that's the same safe search that you use for any other part of NetSuite. So now for actual marketing, I need to go and create a new group. And there's 2 types of groups we can get. So the group is a list of contacts, customers, leads that we're going to be marketing to. Now, a list can either be dynamic, in which case that whenever we use that group, it runs the safe search and whatever's current is emailed. So if you have, as in my case, with a list of US customers, then I can have that as a dynamic group. Whenever I use that for a mail campaign, I always get the current set of data. I can also run it as a static list, and that's more useful if I'm doing a multi-point marketing campaign where I am going to be doing mailings and phone calls and multiple emails where I want a progression through the system. That's the point I might use a static group, and that basically fills in that list of people, and then over the time and however I use that group, that list stays the same. So as users and contacts get added onto the system, they don't get affected. So I'm only going to do a quick email blast, so dynamic is perfectly fine. And I'm going to create a group by contact. And I'm going to call it my marketing tips and tricks group. And I'm going to use my first one. myself a second group for the emails I want to send to. My managers. And as you see on the screen, it shows you a quick preview of the group. So if I actually go back into that. So it gives me a preview of the list of people within my group. And it also tells me whether they've had bounced emails, whether they're becoming inactive, or whether they've unsubscribed. NetSuite by default will add in the full unsubscribe options at the bottom of the email. Okay, so I now have my email template. I now have a couple of contact groups that I can use. So the next step is to actually create myself a new marketing campaign. And this is the point at which I'll actually get to send some emails. So, marketing tips and tricks. A lot of information on an actual campaign is optional, and there's an awful lot of tools to help you manage your campaign processes. In my example, I'm just going to do a quick blast, but you can use it to manage, you can obviously use it to do multiple events, multiple steps within a campaign, managing your activity all around that campaign. So I'm just going to do just an email one. I can record segmentation in terms of what my campaign is for. I can link a campaign to specific items. I can record the dates that it runs, and then I can also start recording the costs of my campaign. So I can record everything that costs. So as I go, and I can record costs of if I've bought in a mailing list. I can record costs if I'm doing a television spot. I can record the production costs of that against the campaign. And then on the other side, where we get links and where we get click-throughs and feedback, it is then possible to sort of track back to the revenue actually received from a campaign, so you can start sort of building up return on information, on investment data and reports. So we're going to keep it quite simple for the moment. So the only event we're going to be doing here is an email event. So I'm going to pick my US group, and then I pick my email template. And then title, this is the actual subject line on the email. So I'm just going to put it September special offers. Subscriptions, these allow users to have subscribe and unsubscribe options to different areas. So you can set up different areas within your marketing subscription options. So in this case, we can use it for marketing. This means that customers can choose to a fairly fine control as to what information they receive from you. So if they still want to receive the product information, they can still get that, but maybe unsubscribe for your marketing work. So I'm going to do marketing. Our channel is email, and I'm going to change the status to execute. And the way NetSuite does its bulk emailing, the bulk emails run on an hourly basis. So it's going to run at 4 p.m. And then I do add, and then save. And then that's it. That's my email blast queued up. So at 4 o'clock or just after, NetSuite servers will run through, and when they get to mine, they'll actually go through and send my email template to everybody on that group. Okay, so we're not going to get many on here at the moment because obviously we haven't sent, but just to show you, here is some of the information that we get back in terms of campaign performance. So we're getting statistics, so it's going to be adding up all our revenue, so we're getting our return on investment. Where we're getting leads from a marketing campaign, we're going to get information as to basically how much those have cost us. If I I'll show you on a report, but basically what we'll get here is as the emails are sent, we'll get information as to when it was sent, how many, and then we start getting the important stats we want from our campaign. So we get information of how many emails have been opened, how many links have they actually clicked on. So we get both the fact that they've received the email, whether they've actually opened and looked at the email, and whether they've actually responded to anything on it. Obviously, if we get unsubscribe options, we get a count of those, together with any bounce backs that come back through to the NetSuite servers. Okay, so that's how easy it is for us to send one. And I'll just show you a little bit more detail on that. So we've got our campaign response report. So this is giving us an overview of everything. So this one's got actual data I can show you. So we can see here we had an email campaign for Serum Plus upsell. We sent 7 emails, 5 were opened. Unfortunately, we didn't have any click-throughs. We got 1 response from those emails. 2 purchases came from that campaign, and luckily we didn't have any bounced emails. So this is a standard NetSuite report, and there's a number of them for the marketing module. If we go back, and obviously there's standard KPI information to do with campaign responses and various other items. Okay, so that's a very quick demonstration of email campaigns. I'm just going to show you very quickly the online lead generation. So I'm going to go to marketing, campaigns, oops, wrong one, I need my template, templates, marketing templates. So this time we're going to create an online form. And we'll call this one marketing tips and tricks. And in the same way as we were doing with the emails, we can either have a template that we've uploaded, but we can also just have a text box. So please register for our webinar. Okay. Let me just switch to Alright, security access issue there. Okay, alright, this is doing something different to what I was expecting. Sorry about that. I'll have to come back and do that one another day. Okay. And then just finally what I just wanted to go through is NetSuite are currently rolling out NetSuite version 2014.2. And for marketing, this has got some very exciting changes for both ourselves and also for our customers. Some people may already have the new version, or if you haven't, then it's going to be rolled out in the next 2-3 weeks. As well as the major overhaul on the look and feel, marketing's got just a number. These are just a number of the key improvements that they've added. So just going through quickly what I've got on my list here. One of the most useful ones is third-party SMTP support. What this means is that currently, when we send bulk email, those go through the NetSuite servers. So they look like NetSuite, and obviously, if you're sending a large number, there is a cost and a management issue for those. What we can do in the new version is we can now use either our own internal SMTP servers, or we can use a third party maybe that specializes in bulk email sending. So especially for internal ones, we can now send bulk emails literally that actually come from us, so are far, far more likely to get past any spam filtering that the customers may have. For email templates, to save where I just showed you how you can go and edit the HTML yourselves, at the moment we either can create an email template externally with the HTML, or we can create a simple text within NetSuite. So from this next version, that last option becomes much more viable, and they're now giving us a proper WYSIWYG email editor. So we can actually do an awful lot of formatting and adding images and building up templates within NetSuite. So especially for ad hoc emails, or for people that don't actually want to have web designers building out their emails, it becomes such a much more exciting and more accessible option. And following with that, in addition to giving us this new editor, they're also giving us a number of very nice email templates. So we can take a fairly standard template, add in our own logos, and then you have your template, and all you need to do when you do a campaign is just change your content to reflect whatever you want to market at that point. Another big change for marketing is currently our click-through information is just a single response on an email. So we could have a dozen links on an email. On the current version, if someone clicks on something, all we know is something was clicked on. With 2014.2, we can now actually track individual links, so we know what was clicked on. So if we've got, if we have an email that's got links to a dozen different products that we're promoting that month, we can actually get a response to see which products are actually clicked on. And that's going to be such a powerful tool to focus our marketing efforts. So because of that, we can actually then search for customers who's clicked on specific links. So we can do follow-up, create follow-up campaign emails. So we can send out a general September blast to all our customers, and then do follow-ups to say the ones that clicked on a specific product to give them more specific information on that one. They've also improved the marketing promotions management. So it becomes a lot easier if you want to do quick discount promotions. They've added better tools to allow you sort of to quickly discount items for a marketing campaign and to exclude items. So if you want to run a campaign where you're offering everybody 10% off your product catalog, they're giving us very good tools for being able to do that, but then say, okay, these products are high-value products, therefore we don't want to discount them. It becomes far easier from a marketing point of view to do product promotions. So if you haven't got this version yet, keep an eye out for it, and I'm sure you'll have it in the next couple of weeks. Okay. I'm sorry that I was having a problem with the online form demonstration. That's marketing in half an hour. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, if you respond to our sales admin, then we can help people as needed. And many thanks for joining me today. Thank you. Goodbye.